It's Monday night. It's time for some straight talk. It hard to believe it's August 1st already. So we tons and tons and tons of stuff in the news. They just they like to make more and more stuff for us to talk about. I had a weird thing I want to do is thank everybody for all the birthday wishes yesterday. I appreciate it. They get to when you get to be older, it's just not quite the fanfare like they used to be. You don't look forward to them. You dread them. So, but we were, I was really overwhelmed by all the Facebook, happy birthdays, and I really appreciate it. But I had to work on my birthday had to be at work at 5 a.m. So I was leaving out to my car. I walk around, and there's next thing you know, there's a black cat runs out from under my car. Scares the living crap out of me because I'm not sure if it's a skunk or anything. So I, no biggie. I see it, runs out in the street, stops, sits down, turns around, and stares at me, and just stares at me. So I'm like going, okay, this is a little weird. Never had this happen before. So I stood there looking at him for a few seconds. He just sat there looking at me. So I went to get my car. I looked back again. He was still there. Finally get in my car, and I back out. I start to drive out, back out into the street, and I start to pull forward, and he's sitting right in front of the road, and he won't move. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Finally, I made some hissing sounds at him, and he finally moved out of the way, but I was like, going, what is going on? So I'm thinking, okay. You hear the superstitions of the black cat crossing your path, so I'm like going, okay, this is going to be a good omen to start the day out. And so later on in the day, my wife calls me up, and we were busy at work, and she goes, hey, you want to go to the casino with my mom and my sisters and I? And I said, sure, I'll go for a little bit. So I'm just going to run for a little bit and then go back to work. So we hardly ever, we might go once or twice a year, we got several casinos right here. So we're on our way there, and we're driving down the road, or she's driving, I'm riding with my wife. She came and picked me up. And all of a sudden, we got four cars, one in each lane, both going the same direction, and we're right behind them, two cars side by side. So there's four cars all together going. The car in front of us that's in the left lane all of a sudden flips on its blinker and goes, I'm turning right. And just immediately just yanks it dead right. I have no idea how it missed the car next to him. Both of us, our car I'm in, my wife, and the car next to us, we got to lock up the brakes to keep from hitting him. And they were looking at us like it was, like we were all at fault for being in their way. Well, the car finally just gassed it, took off, and I was like going, wow, that was crazy. So I'm like going, okay, this is the omen for the day. But still, I got to checking into this, and I was researching for a future show. I'm researching about exorcisms and stuff, and I go, I was kind of, watching, some, videos on demonic possession and all that stuff, and so that comes to my head, about this. So I got to talking with a lady, and I won't mention the name or how I know him or whatever, but I was talking to this lady, and she told me that she came across a lady when she was younger, and she didn't want to tell me at first who it was, and then she told me it was her mom. And she said that her mom, when she was young, said that she had woke up and said she saw the devil. So she said she's always feared of that. So when I don't know how long ago it was. She didn't tell me exactly how long ago, but she was telling me, we were talking about this situation, and she said that she heard her mother upstairs growling. Well, and went in, and she would talk about they had to hold her down. She was fighting, and every time they prayed, she would growl louder and scream and do everything. And so, to her, she the only thing she could think of was demonic possession. So she would eventually, every once in a while, she'd pop out of it and she'd scream, "It wasn't me, wasn't me, wasn't me," and then she'd go right back in, and then she'd go back into the same thing again. So it was really traumatic to her, she said, and I can imagine. And I being Catholic, and I believe in the devil, and I believe in and I believe in God and everything, and you believe in, I mean, with all the crap we got going on in the United States, right, and in the world abroad, there's inherent evil everywhere. I mean, somebody said, do you believe in the devil, or do you believe in, whatever? Well, take a look at what's going on around the world. I mean, you see this. Just in our United States, it's not just that. Every big city. Last weekend, I don't know how many people were shot in Chicago. It's overwhelming amount of evil in this world. And it seems like the more and more we go, the more it gets worse. People get to where they just have no respect for anybody anymore. And I shared a picture today, and I saw it on a Facebook, and it said something about, real men, pray and not afraid to pray. And I'm not. You think about it. I wear a scapular, and people wear religious medals. They believe that they, will help them against evil. I think it's sad to think that we're going to our society the way it is. And the Pope was talking about how he says that he doesn't believe that, all Muslims are evil. And I don't believe they all are. And I don't believe it's all, that they will all eventually follow the religion that says for you to, kill people or do something. I think that's just whatever radical people believe. I mean, it's like we have radical people that are in, like the Westboro Baptist Church people. They believe that they're, but they're not. I mean, they're not going out and killing people. But there's people that believe that, they should do certain things for Christianity. And I had to kind of understand where the Pope was coming from when he makes this statement, because he has to, he's looking at as a whole, and he says, look at all the killing that's going on that Christians are killing, and I agree with him. People that are so-called Christians and going out and killing people, but I don't think it's all just one set religion. We need to do is, it seems like it's changed. Our society is gone from, people where people respected each other. Didn't matter who you were, you still got, you got respect. And it's evolved to where now people just don't care. If it's not theirs, they don't care. And if it's not them, they don't care. You see people doing stuff to other people that you would never see as a kid. People talk about, this election is probably the, wildest election I've ever seen, and I got to agree with him there. But what I hate is in this election cycle that we got going on right now, is that one side will call the other one out for something that they did, and it means they won't see themselves doing it. Right now, the big thing is the attack on Donald Trump for his comments made about the family of the Muslim soldier that died. He was an American soldier, but he was Muslim. Well, we're going to get into those here shortly, but before I get into that, I want to talk about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton went on Fox News Sunday. Chris Wallace interviewed her. And he interviewed her about her emails. And this is what Hillary had to say.
The emails.
Yes.
I want to ask you about just one aspect of them, and that's what you told the American people.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified materials. I am confident that I never sent nor received any information that was classified at the time. I had not sent classified material nor received anything marked classified.
After a long investigation, FBI Director James Comey said none of those things that you told the American public were true.
Chris, that's not what I heard Director Comey say, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to, in my view, clarify. Director Comey said that my answers were truthful and what I've said is consistent with what I have told the American people. That there were decisions discussed and made to classify retroactively certain of the emails. I was communicating with over 300 people in my emailing. They certainly did not believe and had no reason to believe that what they were sending was classified. Now, in retrospect, different agencies come in and say, well, it should have been, but that's not what was happening in real time.
But in a congressional hearing on July 7th, Director Comey directly contradicted what you had told the public.
Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true.
Secretary Clinton said I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
Now, there was classified material emailed.
He directly contradicted what...
Well,
and let me just he not only directly contradicted what you said, he also said in that hearing that you were extremely careless and negligent.
Well, Chris, I looked at the whole transcript of everything that was said, and what I believe is, number one, I made a mistake not using two different email addresses. I have said that, and I repeat it again today. It is certainly not anything that I ever would do again. I take classification seriously. I relied on and had every reason to rely on the judgments of the professionals with whom I worked. And so in retrospect, maybe some people are saying, well, among those 300 people, they made the wrong call. At the time, there was no reason, in my view, to doubt the professionalism and the determination by the people who work every single day on behalf of our country.
You know, it just amazes me how somebody can sit there and she's blaming it on everybody else. She's blaming all the stuff. I gotta, give tout the 300 people. BS. She lied. She said that there was no emails that were sent or received. She just flat lied. And Director Comey come out and called her on it. She flat lied again to Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday. It just amazes me how people sit there and, when is she going to tell the truth? So let's say, what is when she says, "Oh, I'm not going to repeal the Second Amendment. I just want to regulate it." That's what she's saying. When do we feel that she's going to tell it, or when is she telling the truth? She's lying to your face right now, lying to Chris Wallace right there, lying to the American people right there, and she's been lying all along. Do I think that down the road she's going to tell me the truth when she makes another deal with Iran? How do I know if she becomes president when she's telling me the truth? Everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. Because until she proves to me that it's not a lie, it's a lie. I cannot trust her by her own mouth. She's brought it herself. It's her own problem. She's the one who does it. She is the one who lied. And she's caught lying. And then she lies on top of the lie. See, that's what they always taught us. Especially as a police officer. Don't lie about something, because when you go to court, you might go to court 2 years later. One of my first arrests I ever went, I arrested a kid who was 12 breaking into a car. Him and 3 of his buddies. I caught him. Went to court. When I arrested him, he was like 5 foot tall. I couldn't believe it when I picked him up to handcuff him, put him up on the wall to search him. He's like 5 foot tall, and when I go to court, he's 6 foot. I mean, almost 2 years later, year and a half, year and what, 8 months or something like that. That's how quickly it goes to court. Yeah, he'd gained 100 and some pounds. I didn't even recognize him. So for you to be able to do is recall a situation that occurred a year and a half later, you better be telling the truth, because you're only going to remember the truth. You're not going to remember your lie. She's lying so much that she can't even remember what she lies about. I did not have or send or receive that was marked classified. She puts in there that was marked classified because she knows she stripped the headers off of them. FBI Director Comey said she lied. When do the American people feel that she's going to be telling the truth? And why is it when she tells me that the Benghazi, that, oh, we couldn't have time to get over to him. Oh, we couldn't do this. We couldn't do that for the soldiers in Benghazi. She went and said over and over that it was a result of a video. Everybody knew that it never became a result of a video. I'm just appalled by anybody that would ever vote for anything like that. That thinks that this lady is going to ever tell you the truth. Oh, I'm here for the blacks and the underprivileged. Bullshit. She could care less about you. I'm here for the people that aren't wealthy. She's the 1%. She's for herself. She has a foundation set up. And the foundation is set up to benefit the Clintons. 80% or more goes to them. It just amazes me. 80% of... So all the money they take in, they get 80% of it. I shake my head at how dishonest they are. And then they blame Donald Trump for being, oh, he went bankrupt 4 times. Yes, but he paid back all his creditors. If you reorganize your debt like they do for these car companies and everything like that, and they pay back their companies, most of the car companies that took any money for the bailout, they paid it back. I'm appalled by the lies and filth and the crap that comes out of her mouth. And people just, it's like a fishing pole, and they're just like sucking, reeling them in. Now the attacks, all the talking points have been, it's like Hillary Clinton emails them out to all CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, you name it, all of them. Emails it out to them. Washington Post, New York Times. And what do? They email it out. So, here's what we want you to talk about. Here's what we want you to bash Donald Trump about. It's ridiculous what's going on. They're attacking Donald Trump for his comments he made. It says, mainstream mainstream media figures from the New York Times to the Huffington Post to CNN or apoplectic Monday as their latest attack on Donald J. Trump, the Republican nominee for president, has crumbled yet another again against the slightest bit of scrutiny. Especially the newest line of attacks to fall apart in the criticism of Trump over Kaiser Khan, the Muslim Gold Star father who spoke at the Democratic National Convention last week. Over the weekend and over the past few days since Khan spoke alongside his wife, Ghazala Khan, and about her son, Army Captain Humayun Khan, who was killed in Iraq in 2004. It says media-wide reporters, editors, producers, and anchors have tried to lay criticism on Trump over the matter. They thought they had a good one, a specific line of attack that pitted Trump against the military and supposedly showed him as the big meanie racist in the process. But this is coming from Breitbart. Breitbart News showed on Monday that clearly that's not the case. It said Kaiser Khan has all sorts of financial, legal, and political connection to the Clintons through his old law firm, the mega DC firm Hogan Lovells LLP. That firm did Hillary Clinton's taxes for years. Started when Khan started working there, involved in, according to his own website, matters firm-wide back in 2004. It also has represented for 6 years the government of Saudi Arabia. In the United States, Saudi Arabia, of course, is a Clinton Foundation donor, which along with the mega bundlers of thousands upon thousands in political donations to both Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign in 2008 and 2016, plays right into the Clinton cash narrative. It says all of this information was publicly available and accessible to anyone, including any of these reporters and Breitbart News, with a basic Google search. It says anyone interested in doing research about the subjects they're reporting on, otherwise known as responsible journalism, would have checked into these matters. But clearly, none of the mainstream media did. Probably because, as Fox News' Chad Program noted, Democrats sense blood in the water. The whole controversy. It said, so you sit there and talk about this. It says, and it talks about this whole incident going on. So they attacked Donald Trump with this. Well, not just the attack on Donald Trump. The Donald Trump attack on Donald Trump from this Kaiser Khan pissed off a lot of people. And it made people mad. If you've ever spent any time in the military, you understand it. And I have. I spent 3 years active. I spent a year in Korea. I served my country. I did it voluntarily. I went in. I enlisted. I was not made to enlist. The military we have right now is all a volunteer. We do not have a draft like they had in Vietnam. But so, this soldier, he's a U.S. Marine and Navy veteran, wrote a letter to Kaiser Khan. He said, does it matter whether Trump has sacrificed? Has Mrs. Clinton sacrificed for this nation? He says, how about Mr. Obama? He said, Dear Mr. Khan, he wanted to preface this letter by stating that I respect your son's sacrifice for this great nation. By all accounts, he is a true hero that sacrificed himself in service to our country. For that, I am thankful. As a veteran, I watched your comments at the Democratic National Convention with a mixture of sadness and anger, he says. Says the United States has a military comprised of volunteers. Every single member has made the conscious choice to join the military and serve. There is not a single service member who has been forced into service. It is important for all service members and apparently their families to understand that service to this great nation does not imbue one with special privileges or rights. I found your comments troubling when you said, have you ever been to Arlington Cemetery? Go look at the graves of these brave patriots who died defending the United States of America. You will see faiths, genders, and ethnicities. You have sacrificed nothing and no one. It says, does it matter whether Donald Trump or Mr. Trump has sacrificed nothing and no one? Has Mrs. Clinton sacrificed for this nation? How about Mr. Obama? Your comment stated Mr. Trump has sacrificed no one is alarming. Are you imitating that you sacrifice? Sir, your son willingly sacrificed himself? As a father, I cannot imagine the pain you must feel, but his sacrifice is his own. He was not forced to serve. Says, I am troubled that you would allow a party that has little more than contempt for the U.S. service member to parade you into DNC to denounce Donald Trump. Did you watch when protesters at the DNC booed and heckled Medal of Honor recipient Captain Florent Groberg? I said, did you notice your party interrupting the moment of silence for slain police officers? Your own hypocrisy is not denouncing these acts, and instead using the DNC as a platform to make a political point is disgraceful. The simple fact is, whether one served or sacrificed does not give greater power to their statements. One vote is as valuable as another. That, sir, is why our country is great. Your condemnation of one person over a statement, while standing idly as your party disparages veterans and police officers, is the height of hypocrisy. It says, to conflate the need to prevent potential terrorists from entering our country with the belief that all Muslims should be banned is simply wrong and disingenuous. As a reminder, Mr. Trump said, until we are able to determine and understand the problem and the dangerous threat it poses, our country cannot be victims of horrendous attacks by people that believe only in jihad and have no sense of reason or respect for human life. The irony of your son's own death at the hands of these people in Iraq should not be ignored. I have little doubt that your son would have recognized these to protect our country from these very people. In fact, he held his own troops back so that he could check out a suspicious car. Your son understood sacrifice and how to protect his people, his soldiers, his fellow Americans. As you continue to make the media circuit and bask in the glow of affection cast upon you by a party that has little regard for your son's own sacrifice and veterans in general, I would ask you to consider your comments and your position more closely. And it says, respectfully, Chris Mark, U.S. Marine and Navy veteran. Talk about hitting the nail on the head. If you've ever spent any time in the military, you understand that I chose to go in. I chose because I care about this country. I wanted to protect this country.